Hi crochet family, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to learn a new stitch which is called the crisscross stitch. Now the crisscross stitch is absolutely easy, it is beautiful, it adds texture and interest to even the simplest of projects. You work this stitch in a crisscross fashion to give that effect, but believe me, the pattern is much easier than it looks. It gives a very advanced and a very beautiful texture and a very good look. So you can work this with any yarn, any hook, absolutely up to you. You can work up a scarf, you can use it as a blanket stitch, you can use it for any blanket stitch or an afghan or anything. It really will give you that extra pizzazz that you want to add to your project. So let's learn this stitch, which is called as a crisscross stitch. Okay, so I have two colors of yarn here. I want to show you how to change color. So we are going to begin with this gray color. So I'm just using scrap yarn, just this any, like I said, any weight yarn or any yarn you can use. And for tutorial purposes I'm using this 5mm crochet hook. Okay, and this is just some regular lightweight 3 yarn. Okay, so I'm going to begin with the slip knot. So I'm going to begin with the slip knot. This is how I do my slip knot. You can do it whichever way that suits you. Now I'm just going to bring you a little closer to me. Yeah, so now the first thing we need to do is we need to make a chain. You can make your chain as long as you want it to be, okay, but just make sure that you have an even number of chains. Okay, so you can make it as long as you want or as short as you want, because this is just a practice swatch that I'm making for you guys. I am going to chain up 12. Okay, so this, how do we do a chain? Yarn over and pull through. Okay, so I'm going to do 12 chains. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So I have my chain of 12. Now the second chain stitch from your hook, this does not count as a chain, this does not count as a stitch. This is our first and this is our second. I always like to work in the back loops because it gives a much neater finish. So I'm going to go into my second chain, draw up a loop. You got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both. So this was your single crochet. Now for the very first row, or the foundation of your crisscross is going to be on a row of single crochet. So after you've done a chain up of 12, you're going to do a row of single crochet starting with the second chain from your hook. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So if you do a chain of 12, your first single crochet row, you end up with 11 single crochets. So this is your first row. Okay, so now we move on. So this was our foundation of our crisscross stitch. Now we move on. Now like again, I want a neater edge for it, so after I finish my last single crochet, I'm just going to turn my work, and now I'm going to chain up 3. So 1, 2, 3. This chain 3 counts as my very first double crochet. Now I'm going to skip the next 2 stitches, so that's 1 and 2. I'm going to skip the next stitch, that is this one. I'm going to skip that stitch. Okay, and I'm going to double crochet in the next stitch. So yarn over, skipping one, go into the next and do a double crochet. Now the stitch that we skipped, this one, we're going to come back into it and double crochet. So how do we do it is, I like to just flip my work a little bit so that I can see my stitch over top. Okay, so I yarn over and I go into that double skipped stitch, yarn over, pull through and complete my double crochet. So this here is my very first crisscross stitch. Now for the next, we are going to skip 2 stitches, yarn over, skip 1, go into the very next, yarn over, pull through, complete your double crochet. We are going to go back into our skipped stitch, yarn over, slightly flip it ahead so you can see the stitch over top, go into that chain single crochet, yarn over, pull through and complete your double crochet. So that's my second crisscross stitch. Okay, now that is your crisscross stitch or your pattern. So what you're going to do is, you're going to skip the next, you're going to go into the very next, the stitch after that, yarn over and complete your double crochet. Now you're going to come back to your skipped stitch, but instead of going like this from behind, you're going to go from front. So you need to flip your work a little bit or fold your work, yarn over and complete your double crochet. So you can see this is forming my crisscross stitches. It is giving a very neat and beautiful look as well as texture. Okay, so we are going to continue the same way throughout, and we're going to finish off with our crisscross stitch. Okay, so we're going to continue work in the crisscross stitch all the way to the end of our row of single crochet. Okay, so skip the next, go into the next with a double crochet, yarn over, come back to your skipped stitch and complete your double crochet. Okay, now you have 2 stitches left, so we are going to do the same thing. We are going to skip 1 stitch, we are going to go into the next, yarn over, go into that last stitch, complete your double crochet, yarn over, come back to your skipped stitch, yarn over, pull through. So this, my dear friends, is your very first double crisscross stitch. Okay, now we need to, now this is going to be a pattern, so you do one row of single crochet followed by the crisscross stitch. Now since we have finished our crisscross stitch, we are going to do a row of single crochet again. Okay, so I want to change my color here, so I'm going to bring up my orange yarn, and what I'm going to do, so I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to do a chain up of 1. I'm going to go back into the very first or the same stitch and do my first single crochet in the next, single crochet in the next, and single crochet in the next. So I'm going to do my single crochet row all the way across. Now to give you a few ideas, you may wish, if you may wish, you can do your row of single crochet in one color, and then you can do your crisscross stitch in another color. Or what I would do, or what I'm doing here is I'm doing one set of crisscross stitch, that is a single crochet and a crisscross stitch in one color, and going to do my second set of crisscross stitches in another color. Okay, so I'm come to my very last stitch. I'm going to find my top of my chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3, and in the very last stitch I'm going to do my last single crochet. Okay, now here I'm going to just turn my work, and I'm going to do a chain up of 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to skip my next stitch, go into the very next, complete my double crochet, tilt your work slightly so it is facing towards you, go into the skipped stitch and complete your crisscross stitch. Okay, so skip, double crochet, go back into your skipped stitch with a double crochet, and there you have it, your crisscross stitches. I love this particular stitch. It is beautiful, it is easy, it is gorgeous, it gives that extra feel to your project. It really does. And so that's that. I'm coming to my last two stitches, excuse me. So I'm going to skip that, go into the very last one with a double crochet. Yarn over, come back to that stitch with a double crochet, and there it is, your criss-cross stitches. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please leave your comments. Do not forget to subscribe so you do not miss out on my new videos. Click that notification bell as well so that you are notified every time I post a new video. Thank you so much for your love and support. Take care and God bless.